What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Wednesday, May 4th, May the 4th, Star Wars Day. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cop. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Dennis. Good morning to all the rest of you. Whether you're watching live later or listening, thank you for coming by for first cop. Good morning, Josh. Dennis asks, how is it midweek already? It's going as fast as all in weekend. Days do go fast, don't they? Especially when we fill them with stuff. When there's good stuff or bad stuff, it seems to go quickly. When there's stuff that we've got to figure out, right? And that's the classic movie Groundhog Day, right? I think that's the message in that movie. You gotta make the best of the time that you have. Good morning, Tommy and Mark and Stacy and Gad. Stacy's calling it Spar Wars Day. I think we do still have the Spar Wars hoodie at whistlekick.com. We've got a fun. This is. I've joked that, I'm glad there isn't like a crew working on this show. But if we did do that, this is where having somebody plan some stuff ahead. Hey, where's your Spar Wars t-shirt? Wear that on Wednesday. Don't wear it on Monday under a sweatshirt where nobody's going to see it. Oh, yeah, that would make sense. I didn't do that. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Frank. Then it says, we love our Spar Wars hoodies. Yeah, you guys got a couple of them. I like that graphic. That was one that I came up with that idea. And used to have somebody on the team who did a bunch of graphic design for us. And he came up with a few versions, but that one was definitely the best. Something happened yesterday for the second time that I found kind of neat. And I'm not going to give you the full context. I'll let you connect dots as much as you feel prepared to. Black Belt Magazine once again shared another whistlekick social media post. Now, they didn't share it from our page. It doesn't show as a share, but they took our graphic and our logo's in it, and they put it up. And of course, it got, as always, way more attention than our page gets. But I commented as whistlekick and just said thanks for the love. We are a rare account in that we're constantly trying to put out original material. That does not happen on most social media pages, especially most martial arts social media pages. We're trying. Good morning, Brian and Nathan. Jenny says, did you comment? Thank you for the love. Yes, that is what I said. Thanks for the love, something like that. They're not going to respond. And what's sad is that 99% of the commenters aren't going to get why that comment's there, if they even see it. Most of them aren't going to see it. But the ones who see it, they're not going to get it. We're doing our thing. Just keep chipping away. It does seem like their social media of late has been a balance of stirring the pot and other people's graphics. That's fine. As long as they're not including us in the stirring of the pot. I don't like pot stirring. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's ridiculous. So Tuesday, how was your Tuesday? I recorded 3 pretty solid episodes of Martial Arts Radio. Conversations with 2 people that I had not met. One that I had. All 3 came out pretty good. And how far out are we? 4 weeks, 5 weeks? I think we're 5 weeks out. So those will be out in a bit. I still got to do intros and outros. I'll probably do those tomorrow. Someone's coming to rent the RAV4 today. I've got what might be my last orthodontist appointment. Lots of email. I'm so behind on email. There's a lot of email from even last week that I haven't done, but I'll get there. It's warm in here. I gotta put on a lighter. I'm not taking this off because there's nothing underneath, but I really should have put on just a t-shirt today, I guess. Anybody watching Star Wars tonight? Is that part of anybody's plan? Dennis says, social media can bring out the worst in some folks. I've lost respect for a lot of people I once held in higher regard. It's sad, actually. Yeah. Yeah, there's consequences matter. And when people perceive their actions to be free of consequences, I think we can see a lot about who they truly are. I think I've been pretty much the same person on social media since the beginning of social media. I try to remain positive, supportive, insightful. But there are a lot of people that I thought were also that way, and over the last few years have just become jerks because they're playing to the people that they want support from, the people that they want to think highly of them. So dumb. It's just dumb. Well, Dennis is being far too kind. Denny says, I'll be watching something from the Star Wars catalog for sure. Dennis says, last orthodontist appointment, yay, literally $1 million smile. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's not $1 million, unfortunately. And he has, I've said it before, I'll say it again, pop off that hoodie and watch the viewer count grow. Woo! Ray says, tomorrow, of course, is Revenge of the Fifth. I like when we have pop culture stuff that becomes so broad that we all just kind of go, yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Something like Star Wars is just. But there are people who haven't seen Star Wars. I don't get that. There are people who say, here's a thing that everybody's watched or participated in. I'm not going to watch or participate just to be different. See, and I'm the opposite. I remember when Game of Thrones started getting popular. I'm like, all right, I have to watch Game of Thrones because everyone else is watching Game of Thrones. And in the modern era with streaming and everything, how often do we get a show that everyone watches? The closest I think we have right now is stuff like, we had Tiger King. That was a good example. And that's why I watched Tiger King, because everybody else was watching Tiger King. We don't get those broad cultural involvements. So when we have the opportunity to participate in them, we should, instead of just saying, I'm not going to watch this because a whole bunch of people watch it and like it. It's the dumbest reason to not do something. I don't want to do it because everyone else is doing it and they enjoy it. I might enjoy it, and then I might be less different from everyone than I think I am. Lame. Jenny says, Star Wars is not everyone's cup of tea. Too bad. It's too bad. Dennis says, I'm going to watch the next episode of Boba Fett. Perfect day to resume it. I've gotten a little bit of flack for this. Boba Fett was better than Mandalorian. It was a better show. Yeah. Without Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, it's fine. But it's slow. Mandalorian is a slow burn. Boba Fett, much more interesting to me. I am catching flack for that. He says you should catch flack for that. You know what? It's not my fault that everybody just anyway. We are going to go through, and I got a couple comments over there now on the Facebook page. How did I phrase it? Have you ever misunderstood martial arts class instructions in a way that led to humorous results? So that's over on Facebook. So you can think about that. You can comment there. We're going to bring it back at the end because I didn't do that yesterday for episode 1000. And you can tell me your stories. Aw. Thanks, Ray. Ray says, first cup with Jeremy. What about first cup? A cultural phenomenon right here, people. Thank you. Gad says, really looking forward to the Obi-Wan series. This is news to me, but sweet. I'm pumped for that. I would like to do some choreography for something like that. That would be fun. Yeah. If anybody knows Jon Favreau, have him message me. Listen, John, I got this. I know nothing about choreography for camera, but I think I can figure it out. And what better motivation than Obi-Wan? Brian says, got my first swag pack yesterday in the mail. Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, I got a couple of those I got to send out. They came in over the weekend. Might be able to get to those today. Dennis says he doesn't disagree with me. Boba Fett's been good. Jenny says, Boba Fett was good, but not gooder than Mandalorian. Josh says, I enjoyed the staff fighting training sequences in Boba Fett. Frank says, had I known there would be this much discussion of Star Wars, I would have chosen a different topic. I didn't think Jeremy was this big of a Star Wars fan. I'm really not. They're good. They're good. It's, I just know how important the movies are to some people, and they hold up. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that I appreciate about Star Wars is if you watch the original trilogy, they hold up. A good story is a good story. Yeah, the special effects aren't quite the same as what we would have if we remade them today. But it's a story that has a lot of very universal elements, in the same way that Lord of the Rings, which, that trilogy is probably my favorite of anything. I love Lord of the Rings movies. Excited for the Amazon show, Lord of the Rings. Who knows when that's coming? Next year? Year after? But that gives me hope that they're doing a good job with it instead of rushing it. Gad says, want to feel like a Jedi for a while? Play Fallen Order on Xbox or PlayStation. I've played a number of Star Wars themed video games over the years, and the only one that ever really captured my attention goes so far back. This is like mid 90s, and it was X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. I think that was it. It was a ship game. I've got some on the PlayStation, and they just don't do it for me. The combat ones, those are okay. I've played some of those, but I'm really picky on video games. I like a story. I like playing a story. I haven't played anything in 3 weeks. All right. Switching over. Jenny's really sticking to her guns on this. That Mandalorian's better. It's funny. All right. So today is, in addition to Star Wars Day, it's Anti-Bullying Day. Every May 4th, many people around the world take on pink shirts to show their support of Anti-Bullying Day. The event was started in 2012, and it's already known in 25 countries around the world. Anti-Bullying Day is a special day to stand against bullying. Bullying has become a widespread problem around the world. It's estimated that 1 in 4 children will be bullied during their adolescence. Now, 100% of children. Over 70% of students are bullied, and they see no end of this problem. Moreover, bullying is one of the main reasons of suicide among students and children. Anti-Bullying Day originates from another event started in Canada by David Shepard and Travis Price in 2007. This event is known as International Day of Pink because the founders brought 50 pink shirts to wear at school after student Charles McNeill had been bullied for wearing a pink shirt on the first day of school. As far as Anti-Bullying Day's symbol, it's a pink shirt. It's also called Pink Shirt Day. All Anti-Bullying Day activities are held at schools, workplaces, or any acceptable location where bullying might cause problems for people. Participants disseminate information about bullying and its negative consequences and the way out of this problem. The reason bullying has grown is because we're approaching it as something that can be eliminated. Can't be eliminated. It can be reduced. Bullying is something that will always exist. And the more we try and eliminate it, the more we're ignoring the reality of it and the less impact we have on it. It's part of social structure. How do you reduce it? Consequences. Remember, schools are the only place on earth that I'm aware of where we eliminate the legal definition of assault and give it some other definition that somehow also eliminates the concept of self-defense. This is why this problem exists. If people were allowed to stand up for themselves, if people who committed assault in schools were treated the same way that they would be treated if they committed assault outside of school, bullying would not be nearly a substantial problem. End of rant. Josh says, I kind of just want a Star Wars video game where you fly around on a speeder bike. There you go. Closest thing to a speeder bike, I think, is a motorcycle. If you want the real world version. You're not laid out, though. Not quite as full layout. Mark says, awesome, thank you for your rant. Look, do you guys agree? Look at the problems that happen in school, and okay, you're gonna sit down and talk about it. Don't be mean to people on social media. What are all of the adults involved doing? They're being mean to people on social media. Not always directly, but it's happening. We live in a time where it's somehow deemed acceptable for our elected officials to be jerks to other elected officials. The people that we have set up to run our country are jerks to each other. How is that not cascading down? It's ridiculous. People need a slap in the mouth. Stacy says, today is not the day for a motorcycle ride in Vermont. No, it is not. It is rainy out there. I don't like riding in the rain. I'm sure it's cold. Hey, Google, what's the temperature outside?
In Moortown, it's currently 50 degrees.
50. Yeah. 15, rainy. Yuck. Yuck. Want nothing to do with that. Yeah. There was an episode we did where I talked about a news story. There were three kids involved. Not all of you have heard this episode. There were three kids involved. There was a bully, a kid getting bullied, and a kid who did martial arts. The kid who did martial arts heard a knife open in the context of the bully bullying the other kid. So the martial arts kid stepped in, took care of the problem in school, and was suspended. Now, obviously, every school is not going to handle things like that in that way, but it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard in my life. The messaging there to everyone else. Well, we have a zero tolerance violence. You have. How's that working out? We ignore the realities of the world and wonder why things don't go the way we want them to. Can't work in a fantasy land. You have to work in reality. And the reality is that kids are always going to pick on other kids. So let's set them up for success. Let's give them tools to know how to deal with that. Let's give them confidence. Let's give them self-defense skills. Just go tell a teacher. Why? So the teacher can not do anything and make it worse? How many of you ever had teachers that were going to make that situation better? Jenny says, yeah, my kid's school district is constantly saying they don't have the authority to do more than talk in most cases. They don't need the authority. There's legal authority already established. Yet they have a zero tolerance policy, and they expel both kids if there is a fight, regardless of whether either was simply defending themselves and attempting to de-escalate correctly. So many issues. Tommy says, I was taught to fight back by my father and uncles. Not sure what kids are taught today. Even my sisters would fight back hard. Jenny says, I teach all of my kids that they better never start the fight, but they can certainly finish it. Dennis says, my children, my nephews, and nieces were taught to always fight back. They knew their parents would back them no matter what dumb action the school district decided to take. Yep. I got picked on a lot, but it never turned violent because they knew. There was nothing to gain by fighting me. I was small, I was a nerd, and I did martial arts. So if somebody actually tried to fight me, the best they had for a possible outcome was you beat up the small nerdy kid. The worst small nerdy kid beat you up. Never happened. Never got in a fight. It was a little scuffle in like fourth grade. That's the closest I got. I've been able to diffuse everything that's ever happened. I'm happy about that. Like everything, we will see the pendulum swing far enough that it will have to correct because what we're doing is unsustainable. And as we see more and more people pull their kids out of public schools, which I think is a good decision, schools will have to respond. It's ridiculous. I'm so glad I'm not going to school now. All right. No, any more? Kelly says, bullies do not care about policies. The good kids don't want to get in trouble, so they follow policy and therefore don't defend themselves. Jenny says, Kelly, this is exactly the environment that has been fostered in schools. Not a surprise that youth suicide rates have increased as well. Josh says, tolerance policies are just adults and administrators' way of not dealing with the problem. I honestly think school, including martial arts schools, should teach verbal self-defense. It would be a lot more practical for most people. And Frank reminds us, sad thing is it doesn't just happen in schools. No. But for a lot of people, the bullying skills that they learn in school extend to the real world. And the physical elements are less common once you get out of school, because if somebody walks up to you in the workplace or on the street and they try to put you in a locker, everyone recognizes that it's assault, and you can get law enforcement involved. Why don't schools handle assault by the legal definition? Because there would be so much of it that we would need tons of resources to handle that. That is proof of the problem. That is proof that what is being done doesn't work. All right. So let's share this tab. There we go. Have you ever misunderstood martial arts class instructions in a way that led to humorous results? Mark said, doing Zoom classes with an 84-year young bilingual Filipino who has broken his hearing aid can be very entertaining. I like that. And Jason says, part of testing was to recite warrior code, and one of the lines was to make a just kill. The person presiding over the test would make you do physical techniques until you were exhausted and confused. So when it was time to recite, one red belt got the words jumbled and said, just make a kill. I like that. How about the rest of you? Anybody else ever had anything like that happen? I'm trying to think. I don't think I have. We've certainly heard plenty of goofy and funny stuff on martial arts radio. But usually I understand what the person's saying, and vice versa. Some of the episodes with people for whom English is not their first language have had some awkward moments, but I wouldn't say they're quite on this level. If anybody else has anything to add on this, I would love to hear it. Almost done with my tea. Oh, I have hot water. I can add some more water to tea. Here we go. Kind of just want to sit and watch the rain. But that's not an option. I got stuff to do. And he says, when I was growing up, I was taught by my parents as well as other adults in my life that I should just ignore it. That never worked. It still doesn't. People forget what bullying is. Bullying is an attempt to establish pecking order, social hierarchy. This is a thing. This is a real thing. Where do you fit in your groups? There are other ways of determining that order, but think about the unnatural aspect of removing all of the children, all of the young, grouping them together with not only poor ratios to observe and protect them, but to take people who are less likely to observe and protect them than their own parents. That's a problem. Think about what that would look like if you did that to animals. A bunch of people take all the puppies away, put them in a series of kennels, and pay someone to just kind of feed them once in a while. They're going to tune out. As those dogs get bigger, they're going to figure out who's the alpha. Doesn't work. It's never going to work the way we do it. Never has worked. But it's going to continue to work more poorly. Kelly's got a funny one. During a sparring class years ago, I always told students that you want to be selfish during sparring. One day when I asked class, what do we need to be? Someone shouted out, we need to be shellfish. And it has stuck. Ah. Yeah. So what do we do with all this? There is very little that we're going to be able to do systemically. If you have kids or grandkids or other children that you are responsible for, I would suggest you consider what it would look like if they didn't go to public school. I think that's the only solution. I do. I am glad I don't currently have kids, because I would pull them out of school. And that would create problems. That would be difficult. Ooh, that's hot. There is plenty of wonderful educational opportunity online these days. There's no reason anybody has to sit in the classroom. And if you want socialization, there's lots of kids, plenty of ways, after school sports, etc. All right. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the show and all that we do here at Whistlekick. If you want to go a little bit deeper on that support, you've got a Patreon that you can join, patreon.com/whistlekick. Only place you're going to find out about the guests. Like, who did I interview yesterday? Only place you're going to find that out is on Patreon. We've also got the code FIRSTCUP15 to save 15% on anything at whistlekick.com. And we've got the whistlekick.com/family page, where we've got a bunch of different stuff that's kind of like a mini Patreon. And it's all there's a bunch of exclusive stuff, as well as direct links, all the things that you can do to help us. If you have questions or comments, I'm going to leave something on Facebook for you to respond to, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Facebook.com/firstcupwithjeremy. If you don't do Facebook, you can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. We do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Facebook, on YouTube. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're on Twitter. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're on Twitch. Go follow us on Twitch, please. More comments. Look at all the comments. There we go. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for being so open with one another and supportive. It means a lot to me. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Peace.